Hi there. So today I'm going to talk about basically advice of how to keep your mental health at a good place. One way to do this is by stop comparing yourself to others, because you don't live the same life as everyone else. You live your life, the events that have happened in your life. In order for all of those things to happen, they mainly just happened to you, like all of those events in the order that they happen. They are unique to your life. So you have to keep that in mind. Even though some people may have experienced an event similar or the same event, that doesn't mean you and that other person are going to have the same feelings, the same reaction, because even though that event may be similar or the same, that doesn't mean that they experienced everything else. Keep that in mind. With that saying, is that everyone's going to have their own perspectives on a certain situation. We could take this into comparison to the Bible. Everyone has their own interpretations of the Bible, because mainly when one reads the Bible, they're reading it from their perspective of what makes sense to them based on what has happened in their life. And some people could be reading this from the privileged point of view, which means it's only beneficial for them, and if it's not beneficial towards them, then they just completely throw away that idea. But in order to fully understand the Bible, you need to be open-minded to all the perspectives, not just the privileged, but also the minority of what is really happening in here, especially when Jesus is in Israel and he's moving across the land. What is happening there, especially when the Roman Empire and the Pharisee, and basically Jesus's whole time on earth displays how Jesus, yes, he pays attention to the minority, but he also looks at the privilege and explains to the minority of how the privilege got to be so privileged. And then also just helping the minority by looking out for them, by healing the man with leprosy, by even touching the man, because back then nobody was going to touch anyone with leprosy. In fact, they would send them to the outskirts of the city where they're in isolation for their whole life. So the movement of Jesus even touching that man is powerful. But keep in mind, Jesus told the man of leprosy, even though he was cured, not to speak of the encounter, because Jesus didn't want others to associate him with leprosy, because it was believed that if you touch one with leprosy, you would also have it. And Jesus didn't want others to be afraid of him. But the man with leprosy didn't see it that way. He saw it as a blessing. So he went to go and tell everyone, even though Jesus asked him not to. But the man didn't understand why Jesus didn't want him speaking of it. Because Jesus didn't want people to have a pre-thought of Jesus before even meeting him. People are going to have their own interpretations about you, about life, about situations. But you have to think about it in their shoes. How did they come up with those interpretations? Did someone react the same way towards them? Did they learned it from others by just watching others? Because that's a lot of how people learn, is by observing others, especially those that they see on a daily basis, like in the household, as well as in the first 7 years of one's life. They're basically just watching everyone around them to identify how to act themselves. And basically in the first 7 years of all of our lives, we're being programmed to become the person that we are today. And if that program's not the right word, but it's in a way an easy way to explain it. And if the first 7 years of one's life is living in a place of constant fear, or in a place where it's negative and not positive, where the child isn't taught to think well of themselves, well, it's going to be very difficult when that individual grows up. Because although here in the back of their minds, it's all that negativity that they heard in the first 7 years of their life, because that's what they grew up being around. And so that's going to stay in their mind, and it's not impossible to work against those thoughts, but it's going to be extremely difficult because that's how the person grew up. It's like how you take two twins, identical twins, genetically they're the same, but if they grow up in two different environments, they're not going to be the same person. If one twin, let's say twin A, grew up in a place where he was constantly put down and he was discouraged every time he succeeded, well, he isn't gonna grow, because every time he tries, he's put down, meaning he's discouraged. The people told him to not be happy about his achievements, so he will stop trying to achieve new things. While twin A grows up in a place where he's encouraged to make achievements, and every time he does, he gets praise over it, or he is being told that he did great. And twin A is going to continue to do that because he was taught that it was a good thing to keep achieving, to keep on trying, even if it may fail at first. Twin A is going to keep on going until twin A succeeds. So twin B succeeds. So even though they're identical twins, twin A may not have a great life. Twin B may have a successful life, and that's because of how they grew up. So yeah. Hopefully, sorry, everyone's like messaging me right now. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and a comment, and be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I make more videos. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to comment down below any other suggestions, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.